Hey everybody, Tom Selleck for the win here with a short little special on farming and landscaping. There are a handful of just small things that take a lot of experimentation to figure out. You might get it wrong the first time. And one little trick that I discovered that I haven't really seen a whole lot of people or really anybody mention, so I thought I would bring it up here. I guess the first thing that I'll mention is just the various types of things you can plant in this game. We have cottonseed, which of course you get from, there was one around here somewhere. Little white cotton plants. I guess there isn't one around here now. Oh, there's one. Yay. And then right behind it, you see goldenrod. This here is goldenrod seed. Corn seed, of course. Coffee beans are plantable. Potato seeds, which corn and potato seeds you get from just crafting down ears of corn or potatoes. Goldenrod seeds you get from crafting down goldenrod. We have blueberry seeds. Everything basically you get from crafting down the original item, quite obviously, except coffee beans come in that form, and pine seed and maple seed are dropped when you chop down maple trees or pine trees. Now, I have planted just a few things to kind of give you a look here. In order to plant something, you have to actually, use the good hoe here, you have to actually get a hoe. It's the only tool that will do this, and you have to create a little bit of tilled land. Now, there's a couple important points. If we take, for example, here we'll do it so we have a nice square, because I believe, yeah, they run this way. So if we put 3 boxes just to demonstrate 3 squares, we'll go ahead and just till a short row. You do this with the right click on your mouse. There we go. Had one extra one in there. You do not want to go on the very next square. You want to go one over. If that makes sense. And the reason I put these wood frames here is to demonstrate what I mean by that. So you have the grid system. We have 1, 2, 3 spots on the grid. If you, we'll just go ahead and plant something here to give you a demonstration. If you do it this way, you're all good, no problems. If you try to till with your hoe right in the middle here, you see what happens? It destroys. You can't have them right next to each other. It'll just keep moving your row over and over and over, and it will destroy anything you had planted. So that's the very first thing. Took me a couple tries at that before I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And I figured it out. So there you go. So that's the first thing I want to point out. Thing number 2. If you try to do it on uneven land, you get shit that looks like this. It's actually a straight row. Everything about this is straight, except maybe that right there. And I can plant. See, I got off. It's weird. I can plant right along this. We'll go ahead and just plant some potatoes to show you. I missed that one. And that one. It's kind of tough to get it all in a row. So you can do it, but with all the undulations, it's kind of weird. It's easy to miss a spot. So I recommend trying to find a flat piece of land. Another point that will make it easier to till your rows is find out where the grid system is, like what direction it runs. And it's easiest for me to just stay in that line if you can do it. So either run your rows this way or this way. As you can see here, I've done that. It's nice and straight. It's a little tougher to get it this direction. It just seems like it doesn't want to line up quite as nicely. It's certainly doable, but it's easier if you run on the grid. Alright, everything else when you harvest it, when you harvest potatoes, you just click the E button and it brings them up. 1 seed gives you 2 potatoes. Pretty much everything you plant 1 seed will produce more than that. The one exception to that is corn. In terms of how you harvest it, you have to be careful. So, the first thing you want to do is make sure you let it get fully mature. Nothing else will let you harvest it until it's fully mature. Corn you can harvest when it's still young. You want to wait until it's fully mature, and you can tell it's fully mature because the top will say 3 ears of corn, and the bottom will be 2. So you want to pick the top first, and then the bottom. Here's what happens if you pick the bottom first. You lose those 3 on top. So you get 3 on top, 2 on bottom. or you can just get the 2 on bottom and the top gets destroyed. So that's what I want to mention on corn. Now let's run up the hill here real quick to another section of land that I prepared. And I want to show you something that's not farming related, but it is related to landscaping. So let me get out my trusty shovel and these wood frames. Alright, so let's say that you want a perfectly flat surface for something to build or who knows what. Obviously, in order to do that, you're going to have to break out the shovel or the auger and do some digging. Easy enough, right? Well, what happens when you're like this and you have this little ridge? Well, I want to get rid of that ridge too because I want it to be flat. Okay, cool, no problem. But there's still, as you can see right here, a little ridge. Well, if you want to get rid of that, look what happens. You reach a point with every ridge where instead of it flattening out, it digs it down a spot. So even if you backfill it with the dirt you dug up, it's just going to bring that ridge right back. Well, here's what you can do. If you see a spot where when you place a block it kind of buries it into the ground, go ahead and just pick up whatever frames you have handy. Set them down all over in that area. And then pick them up. And look what happens. Flat land. It gets rid of that ridge for you. You can see it right here. Just watch it happen. Now this one, you can't get rid of the ridge until you dig out that spot. So once you dig it out, you can get it perfectly flat. This works pretty much without exception. You can flatten out whatever you want for a piece of land. It works brilliantly. It works always. Now whether that's going to change at any point with Alpha 11, I don't know. I haven't seen any talk about changing the physics system, so I doubt that it will. But does that have a lot of practical purpose? Maybe, maybe not. I did it, use it for farmland. If I'm going to make a big sort of a field area where I want everything flat, I will use that technique to completely flatten it out. And I'll do the same when I build, or if I want to put in, you know, whatever the case may be. I've definitely used that. So if nothing else, it's helpful if you got OCD issues. That pretty much wraps it up. There's not really a whole lot else. I mean, farming is pretty self-explanatory. You don't have to obviously worry about watering it or being close to water, as long as it has sunlight, and it doesn't even need you know, like complete full sunlight. You could have a farm in the forest and it will grow, I believe, about the same rate or pretty much at the same rate. So, you know, just by the nature of clearing out a piece of land to be able to farm like I did right here, I cut down all these trees, you should have more than enough light. And that's really the only trick there is to it. Once stuff grows, it can stay grown for days, as many days as you want it to. It doesn't rot, it doesn't get old, it doesn't fall over, it doesn't dry out. So you can harvest it at your own leisure, as the Brits say. I think that really sums it up. Hopefully this is a little helpful to some people. Just a nice little short. Give everybody a little advice on how to handle a few things. That should wrap it up. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you didn't like the video, click like anyway. What skin is it off your back, mister or Mrs.? Please subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Twitch. There are links in the description below. Leave a comment. If you have any questions, let me know. This has been Tom Selleck for the win. Signing off.